The swamp, a desolate land in places such as the southern region of the United States. Usually uninhabited by man, the murky marshland seems to be a lifeless scene where even the plants seem sick from the turbid, brackish water. Upon closer evaluation, one can find that there is life here. There are actually millions of creatures thriving in this area, from microscopic organisms to creatures of monstrous size. Alligators are said to have first appeared in the Cretaceous period, which is about 80 million years ago. The alligator we know today is a descendant of very hardy survivors, and may actually be a living example of the historical creatures we call dinosaurs. In order for this species to survive, many changes had to take place. For example, the era known as the Ice Age took place after the extinction of the dinosaurs. To survive, the alligators developed the ability to hibernate during cold weather in burrows or dens that they construct for themselves.
Recently, alligators have astonished the world of science. Researchers have discovered that alligators have a ferocious immune system that can take down a vast range of viruses, bacteria, and other infectious microbes, including HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. We know so little about the alligator, said Michael Zadlock, Dean of Research and Traditional Science at Georgetown University Medical Center, who is an expert on animal immune systems. He said, quote, "This is an animal that after injury in its swamp heals. So they can, and they should, be studied more extensively to know how a vertebrate in the water can experience such severe, terrible injury and recover." End quote. Alligators engage in brutal territorial fights in the swamp that teem with bacteria and other microbes. After the thrashing stops, the wounded combatants separate. Those with the strongest capacity to resist infection tend to survive and then can therefore produce offspring.
Mark Merchant, Associate Professor of Biochemistry at McNeese State University in Lake Charles, Louisiana, first wondered about the alligator's resistance to disease as a youth, hunting and fishing in the bayous of southeast Texas. So many alligators were missing legs or had deep scars across the belly. Why did they otherwise seem so healthy? Merchant wanted to know why. Does alligator blood kill bacteria? The answer was yes, and it kills all kinds of bacteria. Merchant said, and it kills them very rapidly. It kills them without prior exposure, it kills them in a concentration-dependent manner, and it kills them in a temperature-dependent manner. As a scientist, Merchant headed back to the swamp. He snared alligators, drew their blood, and returned them to the water. At the lab, Merchant and his team found that alligator blood serum killed all 23 strains of bacteria exposed to it, while human blood serum killed only 8. Among the eradicated bacteria were E. coli and strains that caused dysentery, salmonella, and strep and staph infections. Alligator blood also killed the herpes simplex virus and a strain of HIV. Merchant and other scientists have begun studying the proteins at the heart of the alligator's powerful immune system. They are short chains of amino acids called cationic peptides, which attack invading microbes. Cationic antimicrobial peptides are produced by all organisms, from plants and insects to human beings, as a major part of their immediately effective, non-specific defenses against infection. With the increasing development of antibiotic resistance among key bacterial pathogens, there is an urgent need to discover novel classes of antibiotics. Therefore, cationic peptides are being developed through clinical trials as an anti-infective agent. In addition to their ability to kill microbes, these peptides seem to have effect or functions in innate immunity and can upregulate the expressions of multiple genes in eukaryotic cells. One such function might involve the dampening of signaling by bacterial molecules such as lipopolysaccharide or lipoic acid.
Approximately 20 years ago, it was discovered that the skin of frogs, the lymph of insects, and human neutrophils all contain cationic peptides that can act as potent antimicrobials. To date, more than 600 cationic peptides have been discovered in virtually all organisms from microbe to man. These cationic peptides have a broad spectrum of antimicrobial activity, including activity against bacteria, eukaryotic parasites, viruses, and fungi. The same cationic peptide sequences are rarely discovered from different species, even those that are closely related. Cationic peptides vary considerably in sequence and structure, with a few common features. All cationic peptides are encoded as large precursors with signal sequences that are subsequently modified by cleavage or additional improvements like glycosylation or halogenation. They range in size from 12 to 50 amino acids and have a molecular mass of less than 10,000. Cationic peptides are amphipathic, meaning they possess both hydrophobic region that interacts with the lipids and a positively charged hydrophilic region that interacts with water or negatively charged residues. This feature allows the peptides to interact well with the membranes that are composed of amphipathic molecules, especially negatively charged bacterial membranes. For the most part, animal cells tend to have membranes with no net charge, so they are unaffected by cationic peptides. There are 4 major classes of cationic peptides. Beta sheet molecules stabilized by 2 or 3 disulfide bonds, amphipathic alpha helices, extended molecules, loops with a single disulfide bond.
In conclusion, there is much more that can be learned from an animal whose family has survived ages of changes. Every living thing on Earth has to follow the adapt or die cycle. The alligators have adapted time and time again. It is strange and surprising that one of the most feared creatures may one day save our lives. If we are able to make medicines from the blood of alligators, we may be able to fight against the hidden killers of viruses and bacteria. One thing is for sure, there will be alligator blood.